Well, hello, and welcome, everyone, to another session of Adulting in My Purpose Live. I am excited. You know, I'm excited to be with you every single Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you're joining for the first time, go ahead, let me know, say hello. You know what we do. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you start your watch parties because we are going to have and another exciting time. I like to give an official introduction. I'm Dr. Nicole Rankin, better known as Dr. Nick, and I am a certified personal growth coach. And my mission is to help as many young people, young leaders truly discover who they are, really clarify their vision, and then prepare to take the next steps in their life. And I'm doing this all through a 7-step system that I created called Adulting in My Purpose. And it just helps them navigate this complex world. So we're excited. You know, we started doing these live sessions a year ago. Due to the pandemic, and it totally just moved into a movement of young people who are truly adulting in my purpose. So every week we come here every Wednesday to share some tips and teachings on how to be effective adults and truly transition into adulthood with many tools and strategies that you need to be effective. So we're looking at the person in a holistic way. We talk about career, professionalism, we talk about health and finance, relationships, mental health, physical health, spiritual health. We talk about it all. So if you're dealing with it as a young leader, as a young millennial out there, we want to talk about it. So that's what we're here for. That's what this platform is for. And I am excited tonight because we have two, not only one, but two special guests to come on today because, we just celebrated here in the US. We celebrated Valentine's Day. So I thought it would be befitting to have a conversation about millennials and love and relationships and dating and all that stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk about it tonight. There are so many statistics that talk about the state and the trends of millennials and relationships. They say that millennials are getting married later, right? They're postponing marriage and relationships later than previous generations. I read a statistic that said 3 in 10 millennials live with a spouse and child compared to 40% of Gen Xers, right? By comparable age. The statistic talked about how the millennials are less likely to want a monogamous relationship. They did a poll in January, just January 2020, that showed that more than 1,300 young adults, millennials, about a third, 32% of say that their ideal relationship is a non-monogamous relationship to some degree. So, and another statistic that showed that a report by Urban Institute showed that a number of millennials remain unmarried through the age of 40. So things we know are changing as generations are going. So I'm excited. What we did, we wanted to bring some people who are experts in this area to talk about it. Talk about the trends and what are we seeing and just talk about relationships. So again, grab your notes, grab your notepad, grab your pen, start the watch party, like, share, because you're gonna enjoy this. Today, I want to welcome certified marriage mentors and marriage and relation coaches, Johnathan and Ayanna Kilgore. And they met as teenagers, okay? They became high school sweethearts and married while in college. And they entered marriage, with a lot of baggage and different perspectives of how to make that work. So now as certified marriage mentors and counselors, they guide couples and individuals to strengthen their relationships and marriage. And through their work with Vow to Cherish TM Marriage Network, they are now mentors and coaches to couples and individuals preparing engaged couples for the journey ahead and equipping seasoned couples to value tools to grow their friendship and Relationships. So we are excited. So not only are they coaching and mentoring, but they are now the authors of, guess what, that came in the mail today.
Yeah.
Their book. Yes, their book, I Quit. So we're going to talk more about that and what is the goal that is sitting in between these two pages. So welcome to Adulting in My Purpose, Johnathan and Ayanna Kilgore. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much for having us on. We are excited about the conversation we'll have tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nick, for having us on.
Absolutely.
It'll be awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. You know, we have known each other for a while now. I don't even know how many years ago. It's been a while. It's been a while.
So I'm excited. Years.
Yeah.
Right. The baby, right?
The baby dedication. Yeah, the baby, the big tall baby. Yeah.
At least 21 years. So it's exciting just to see in the lives of couples and just helping them with their journey. So, you know, tell the audience a little bit about your journey and how you got started to where you are today.
You start, babe?
Yeah, I started. I mean, I guess it first started, and you said it kind of in our introduction, Dr. Nick, is that we met when we were teenagers. Like young teenagers, like just becoming teenagers, like 13, 14, you know, that type of teenager, you know. Actually met at church, and I think Ayanna and her family actually came to one of our church organization's events. It was called the Youth Convention. I remember,
like a youth camp type thing.
Yeah. So I remember the outfit that Ayanna had on and the shoes she was wearing. She was wearing these LA Gears, this long blue jean skirt. You know, when I first saw her. So hey, she caught my eye. And
he was supposed to be there to find Jesus.
Hey.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, back then, I mean, we did it the old school way. You know, you write the notes. Hey, would you go with me? Check yes.
Check yes. Check no.
Yeah. So we did that, and man, thank God she said yes. Yeah. So that started the journey, actually meeting each other, and I remember our first date, Six Flags.
Yep.
At Six Flags, and hanging out with each other and having a good time, and then you know, of course, we graduated high school and went off to college, and then we got married and we eloped. And if you have our book, you'll kind of see that once you read it. We eloped and had that kind of undercover were married for a year without anybody knowing, but us and like maybe a couple of friends that were actually there. So that's how we started, and that started our journey. And it may have been a little untraditional, or not even the way that was smiled upon or whatever, but God had his hand on us. We didn't really know at that time that what God had in store for us. And I never thought when I met her that day in that blue jean skirt and those LA Gear tennis shoes that we would be here today as authors of a book and just sharing our story with the world. And, you know, it's just amazing how God does things like that. You know, he'll take your story to make a lesson for somebody else. So that's how we got started.
And then like how we end up where we are now, although we've kind of like helped and been like a sounding board and a voice of reason for a lot of couples throughout our years, even though we were going through some of our own stuff, we were kind of a step ahead of other couples. So we've always been like a sounding board for them. But Vow to Cherish actually started about 3 years ago. And I guess we kind of made it official, but it really started still in a time of kind of some pain. I was at a point that I was really questioning my love for Johnathan, and we're older. So I kind of thought, okay, maybe it's this midlife crisis type thing that I see other couples going through. Like, what is it? Because how have we fallen out of love? You know, he's still my best friend. And then what I came to realize that, instead of me questioning my love for Johnathan and falling out of love for him, I still loved him. But on my quest to find out, you know, where that love had gone, I really found out that it wasn't I didn't love him. I had stopped valuing him and cherishing him. So I had to kind of go back and kind of really investigate and research that vow to cherish that we took at the altar at that point 3 times
Yeah.
because we eloped. We got married at the courthouse. We got married at the ceremony, and then we renewed our vows at our 10-year. So I had taken that vow to cherish, but we get so caught up on the vow to love and love and love and communication, all that kind of stuff. But I had stopped valuing him as a person.
Mm.
And the things that I fell in love with were now kind of aggravating and agitating me. So I had to kind of look at that vow to cherish, and I realized that this stuff that we have gone through, and the trials and stuff that we have come through, and the obstacles that we've overcome, we have to use that to help other couples, and we'll get into it a little bit more because it goes with kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. But reaching back and helping couples, or reaching alongside, because some couples have been married just as long or longer than us. But if we are willing to be honest and open and transparent, then we can reach back and help others to remember their vow to cherish. Because it's not that you don't really love your spouse anymore or your mate anymore. Sometimes we just have to remember to cherish them and hold them at the value that they are.
Wow, that's amazing, and what an amazing journey that you all have come along for the decades that you have been together, and just the realization of just how to press through and reinvent yourself to keep the marriage going.
Right.
So guys, I am a personal growth coach, and I work with young leaders, our millennials, and younger as well. But this particular platform is for our young adults. And so when you think about young adults and relationships, millennials on their own get a bad rap just in their generation as itself. But when it comes to relationships, we're seeing just kind of a shift in trends and how they deal with relationships, or even their outlook in marriage and commitment. So what are some of the things that you have found, some relationship trends that you are seeing that are different from your time and older generations?
Well, I think first of all, I enjoy the millennials. Before I go into this, but because I think we're learning from millennials, and I think that the millennials and generations that come behind the millennials are the next. They're the next great, doctors, lawyers, government leaders, politicians, preachers, pastors. They are the next, and so I feel like that. I enjoy working with millennials and learning from them as well, because there's so much that we can get from them. That's something that you see different in relationships. I think that sticks out is that they wait, and you mentioned this earlier, that they actually wait longer before they're married. That's some stats say maybe up to 6 years into a dating relationship before they actually get married. So, some people frown upon that, but it also can be viewed as being a little bit more responsible before they make that decision. So I think that's one of the things that I see is that a major difference is the waiting. Like when Ayanna and I got married, 21 and 20, and I will say this because I've had the privilege of just working with different cultures in different countries. I would say in America, because when I work with the Slavics and the Russians and then the Ukrainians, the baby, 18, 19, they still getting married. They're not waiting.
The parents be like, "Oh, you got to."
Yeah. So, but in America, we're waiting, and that young like Ayanna and I was, people are waiting, and there are a lot of reasons why they're waiting. And there's a lot, but that's one. I think we can probably dive into that a little later. But that's one of the things that sticks out to me: the time that it takes before they actually commit to the marriage.
Yeah, because older generations will date. Even now, you take some of the older people; they'll date for 6 months, 6 months, and they know and they're ready to get married. If millennials choose to be in that committed relationship, and again, that's if they choose that, then they're going to do it. They're going to date for a lot longer. And like you say, there's different things, but we have different things. How we date is different. Now you have dating apps. That was no such thing when we, for our generation, that was no such thing. Even now, I have Gen Zs. My children are Gen Z, but they're right there on the cusp of millennial Gen Z. They can text.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the basis of their relationship. You have these apps, and you haven't met them. You haven't seen them face to face. How do you really have a relationship? You know what I'm saying? They have a relationship, but it's not it's just not the same. And talking to them is texting. But okay, so did y'all Zoom? Did you FaceTime? Did you see the face when you were having a conversation? Oh no, it was over text. That's not even. You didn't talk to her, did you? You didn't talk to her. But that's the basis of the whole relationship. Sometimes is over a device. So those are different trends that we would not. One, we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have all these devices back then. But even now, there's some different, even with because you got the generations that are using the dating apps and stuff too, but how they use it is still a little bit different. They use it for the initial, but then they take it on offline at some point. Well, the millennials tend to keep it keep it more online, and so that's one of the main trends now, is like with all the extra opportunities for online dating and keeping it online is a big trend that you see with the millennials now. And so that makes that face-to-face interaction and actually healthy relationship building a little more difficult. We don't know how to interact with each other. Through a device,
Right.
So.
And as you said that was going to be, as you're talking, that was kind of going to be my next question, because when you mentioned that the mindset of having this interaction via text or technology, how has that really, the impact of technology, social media, impact having a healthy relationship? Like how does that work?
It takes to be in a millennial's head to actually see that. So I can just give you my observation.
Yeah, just your observation. Yeah, absolutely.
But having even because we do marriage coaching, but we do relationship coaching. So we coach individuals as well, and that's the thing, and that's why we're needed, is because they don't know how to have healthy relationships. They don't know how to interact. Okay, when it's time for him to fly across country to meet you face to face, it's awkward because I've talked to you for 7 months, but it's been via a device, you know what I'm saying? So it does become very awkward. I don't know how to work. So it has hugely impacted, because and with the social media, it's hugely impacted because you have so many people shouting at you at what your relationship should be and how it should look.
Yes.
And, what your marriage should have, and what your goals should be, and who should be making this amount of money, and who should be doing that kind of. So this is unsolicited stuff. And then you have all these fairy tale scenarios online, and good and bad. So I don't like that. So I'm not going to go towards that. I don't like that kind of relationship. I don't want that kind of outcome. So I'm going to stay over here in my corner. That so technology, social media, that is affecting them a lot, because they're getting they're gravitating to it, and that's what they are taking in. And so the impact of, again, the real and the unreal, everything's coming through a filter now. So it's so hard to grasp the real when you do get it face to face. And that's why a lot of them are leaning on coaches and different things. It's kind of like they're having to be re-socialized, we went through that in kindergarten and in elementary school and all that kind of stuff. But when you're growing into this dating stage, or into, building relationships, they're having to be retaught how to actually connect when we disconnect off of the device. So it's taking a lot of that.
And it also has created, in my opinion, and I would like to say that in my opinion, but I think it's created false expectations.
Yeah.
When you think about not just the devices and the communication, but what we see on social media.
The relationships on display.
Yeah, so I like to tell the young people that I work with, I said, you have the world at your fingertips. We never had that. But with the World Wide Web and your phones and everything, you can just see everything. And so some of the things that you see from on social media, like Ayanna was saying, that, it may not be the real. So when you get into a relationship, then your expectations of a relationship have been set, and your standards from a relationship have been set from social media. And so sometimes that may cause you to have false expectations, and if you have false expectations, then you're disappointed, and then the relationship may not be able to work the way that you want to. But benefits from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just talk about the negative things
Yeah.
on social media, because there's been so many good things. The fact that you can text and that you can send messages, and that you can communicate in a lot of different ways that we have not been able to communicate. There's some benefits from social media. It's not all bad.
And technology, because you
technology.
can literally connect with someone from all over
on the world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some good stuff too within it. I think with the relationships and with the media, it's just a healthy balance. If we can create that, I think we can get some good from it, and weed out some of the negative.
I like what you said that, because that's an important thing, because technology is here to stay, right? It's not going anywhere, and it's a continually evolving. So the things that millennials are doing now with technology, our Gen Zers, by the time they come up and get it, it's going to be totally different. It's going to be new platforms and things that are just going to blow our minds. And we're going to be like, so the idea, and I like what you said, Johnathan, just understanding that there's a place for everything.
Right.
And what I'm hearing you all say, that there's still some fundamentals of healthy relationships that are kind of standard, like kind of building blocks. That are important regardless of technology or no technology, that must be developed as well to maintain a healthy relationships. And I think that's what I gather from what you all were saying, that although technology is good, it's great, and you have the ability, but at some point there's still Ayanna, you mentioned, it's the connection. Right. This when you're having a relationship, it's with the human. So there has to be some type of human connection. So, it's interesting that, they say that millennials are delaying and postponing. We know we live in this technological world, but what do you think is really contributing to this worldview where there is a different kind of thought process on marriage or outlook on marriage these days with young people and actually with adults now too as well? What do you think has contributed to this new worldview?
I think a lot of it is the millennials are really driven with goals, with tasks, with accomplishments. And so some are being driven by, just career and, I set this goal, I'm going to go after it. And so what they want to do that without the distraction of the committed relationship or building family and, that kind of thing. So that's one of the things that is doing it. And then some of them, I got to get financially stable. I got to get my finances right. Well, I hear that a lot. So you got that going on. And then many don't feel like they are really just emotionally prepared. Some of that comes from childhood drama. Some of that comes from what they have viewed in relationships that they saw growing up, or relationships and marriages that they see now. So there are different things that are causing this. And, and some just are not interested, like you mentioned the stats earlier. They want to date and they want to have companionship, but they don't want that commitment so much. So and really there's no way to push them from that, you know what I'm saying? Because they got other stuff that they want to do. And again, for some of them, I don't fault them. Again, I have Gen Zs, and my daughter loves traveling the world. COVID has really, really messed her up, because she had to stay in the United States for over 12 months.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. She didn't get a stamp in her passport.
My kind of girl. That's
if I, at 23 years old, if I was that focused and that driven to just like live and enjoy life and experience life.
Yeah.
Instead of running after boys, I could, there was so much more I could have experienced. So I don't fault that totally. But there's just different things that are driving them. I do believe that a lot of them will settle down as they get older. All of them may not. And again, some of that is going to be scars that if we don't go in, unpack, and help with some healing to take place, it's going to kind of just stay there.
I think I mean, I also think like when you mention worldview, you know, our worldviews are shaped and formed by what we experience and what we've seen. And so the worldview that's with marriages now, so many people have seen marriages fail. So when they see marriages not work, or they see like stressful relationships, or and they see people in relationships who are not happy and just depressed, like, hey, I don't want any of that, you know. So because this generation is they want to be moving and movers and shakers. They want to do great things, and so when they see that, that may make you like, hold up, I may want to wait a little bit before I do this. I want to make sure that I'm ready before. Not that they don't want marriage, because I think millennials do want to be married, but before we get married, we're going to make sure we're ready for this. So that whole idea of waiting kind of, I think sometimes it's because of what we've seen. I mean, broken homes and divorce in their homes, and maybe some kids grew up in abusive homes, or those type of things. And then they may have also, so I like to go both ways with it. They have seen some positive homes too, but they've seen it work a certain way. So I think that, I mean, that's how our worldviews are shaped about what we experience. You know, that's how our cultures are made by what we experience and things of that nature.
Or just seeing the good of marriage, you know, because again, on social media, you're going to see the good side of most of it. So when I see that, oh yeah, they're good and they don't ever have problems and they don't ever have this, I don't feel like I can live up to those expectations, which, you know, we got some stuff we can do to alleviate some of that. But sometimes, you know, like you said, on the flip side of that, they may just feel like they can't live up to the requirements or the expectations that come with marriage.
Wow. And that's great, because as you were thinking about talking about that, I thought about, you know, like you said, the worldview is shaped by what we see. And I think now the divorce rate is like 1 in 3, 50% marriages fail or something like that. It's really high, and even more in the church.
Yeah.
So we're seeing, you know, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother
you know, that now you have this high divorce rate between institution that it was created, you know, for the church and for the church, kingdom people. And if kingdom people ain't getting it right, you know,
who's gonna get it right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I can see them saying, well, if they're not getting it right, why am I going to do that? You know, so it's interesting how, you know, just the culture shapes our view. So when you think about, there are young people out there that, you know, they want to, I believe that, you know, people want that companionship, right? Because the statistics said that it's not that they're not together.
Exactly.
They just don't want the institution or the commitment that they have, right? They're living together, they're having children, and dating for a long time. So it's still that sense of companionship or connection that they yearn and desire, but not the marital commitment. So let's shift gears. You know, you guys have been married for 20, how long? 24 years. Too long. Man, I can't even date for 24 months. No, I'm just playing. 24 years. So what are some of the things? So for young people, and I see that we got some other people listening in. So this is for everybody tonight, but we want to everybody. You know, what are some of the key ingredients that you all believe that are still make for a successful marriage or successful relationship?
You know, I'm an educator, so I like alliterations. I would go with the 3 C's: connection, communication, and compromise. So doing things that are going to keep you connected. One thing that we ran into kind of early in our marriage was we were so busy trying to live out the role of husband and wife that we forgot about our friendship. And that's what kind of brought us together. So continuing to build and lean in on that friendship, to, you know, the things that we did, because we dated, you know, in high school. We went on the dates. We went to every restaurant in Atlanta. We went, to the museums. We did all the romantic things. And we can't get so busy with being married that we forget about, keeping that connection going. And then, of course, with communication, just being open and honest and vulnerable, and remembering that this is likely your best friend. If it's not, it sure will be. It will become. So just remembering that, that's your best friend, and, treating the information or the conversation, and valuing that conversation and cherishing that conversation to make that person feel safe to communicate with you. And then compromise, just being willing to compromise versus having the need to always be right in situations. That will get you so far in your marriage, because you don't always have to be right, but we do have to come to a compromise. Will save you a lot of fighting and disagreement nights.
Yeah,
I believe.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we didn't actually, we looked at the answers, but I mean, the questions and everything, and we didn't do all our answers together. So I'm letting you know how connected we are. So here, mine was communication, commitment, and care, or empathy. So I had three. So yeah. So, but I'm going to start from the back end of it. The care and showing empathy and the understanding is so important, because this will allow you to, in my opinion, not to create so many. It helps with the hurts and the pains. If you just try to look at it from another person's perspective instead of taking everything so personal. Because when you start taking everything personal, you build up this resentment, you build up untrust, you build up walls. Then you can't really, you're functioning, but that's all you're doing. You're not thriving. So you're just kind of functioning, and then it's not good anymore because it's not good. Then I want out, because all of this stuff is just built up. It's like sweeping all of this stuff under the carpet. But when we're empathetic and when we show care and understanding for others, and God has to help us with that. But sometimes it allows us to do the forgiving, and so we can keep moving and grow from those things. I also said commitment. I mean, to show up every day.
Yeah.
If you're going to be married, you need to be prepared and committed and disciplined enough to show up every day for that marriage.
Yep.
You don't really get off days. If you take too many of those off days, you're going to have some off days. You know what I mean? So, that means you're going to go to a season of off time, so you can't have so many off days. That commitment to each other is very important. And of course, communication, learning how to communicate. Communication is
healthy
really,
communication.
Healthy communication, but communication is actually, in my opinion, often just taken for granted, because people think just because we're talking right now, we're communicating, or if you're just listening or in the conversation, you're communicating. But do you understand what's being said? So to be able to go to the depths of communication and understanding and being heard, because check this out, everybody wants to be heard. And this millennial generation want to be heard more than anybody that I ever worked with. They want to be heard and understood. And it doesn't make a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing from them. They want to be sure that their voice is heard and they're included. And so if you're in a marriage and your communication is not being, if you're not being heard, you feel disrespected. You feel unappreciated. You don't feel cherished, and none of those things. So I want to be heard. So communication and learning how to communicate and investing into what it takes to learn how to communicate. Either that's books, it's education, the mentoring, the coaching, whatever it takes for you to learn how to communicate and continue to improve in your communication.
That's right.
Because we evolved as people, we changed as people. This 24 years talking to you, it's not the same as it was when we were first 5 years or the first 10 years. Things have changed. So communication is key in becoming good at communicating.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's go. You guys, I hope you guys are out there taking notes. You see me, I got my pen and my paper, taking notes. Watch out there.
We're gonna get past
everybody. Right. This is everybody.
Yeah.
So let's go over the three. Well, how many C's we got combined? Because you guys had two of the same.
But when we had communication was the same.
Yeah.
Communication was
5.
So now we have 5 C's.
Yeah. Connection, communication, compromise, care, and commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got that? All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. We getting the goods tonight. We're getting the goods tonight. Again, this is for everybody, although we are speaking to our young people because we want to make sure that they're equipped. The thing about my passion and heart, you guys know me for so long, and my love and passion hasn't changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Lee love the kids. I always love the kids.
Always
Yeah.
love kids.
So, I just
we got introduced was through Nisi. Was
Yeah.
3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even when I was a kid, I loved the kid. So it's just a passion and a mission that I have just to help our young people, because I truly believe the more I mentor them now, it's like they feel that they're inequipped, right? They feel that they don't have the right tools and strategies to be successful. And then we seeing a lot of our young people dealing with mental issues because of the stress, because of the overwhelms. A lot of them dealing with depression and anxiety, and even getting to suicidal thoughts and attempts, and so it's things like this that helps people to kind of helps them to understand, just giving awareness of things that they need to look out for, to think about, especially in wanting relationships and avoiding some of the pitfalls of say bad relationships or bad decision making,
Right.
and entering to situations that are unhealthy for us. So I thank you for the 5 C's of successful relationships. We can start a workshop on that. I love that.
Right.
So let's just, so go ahead and I want you guys to just for a few moments, just talk to our young people and I see other people watching, but just talk about, some advice on dating. And give some millennials and some young people some advice on dating. What would you tell them?
I would my advice on dating is not specific to just a generation. It's in general for anyone who is dating.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is to set, know, and communicate your boundaries. So set your boundaries for boundaries, expectations, whatever you want to use. What are your expectations out of a dating relationship? Know what they are. And be firm on those, because if someone comes by, we're not going to lower our expectations because we want that companionship. No, if you don't meet the mark, then on to the next. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't lower those expectations, and find out ahead, early in the relationship. Don't wait, again, I ain't had nobody for a long time, I'm gonna date him for a minute, then we're gonna talk about these expectations. No, you'll waste your time, and you'll drain your emotional bank for no reason. Oftentimes, because you'll be ignoring stuff, and you'll get it happens, and it's going to pull you. So not to exhaust you emotionally, go ahead and know and communicate those expectations first, so you know that you're on the same page, and get your counterparts' expectations for a relationship, and so where both of you guys stand, and you know where you're headed. Your expectations, your goals. What are you looking for out of this? Make sure that is clearly communicated. And then I will tell them to absolutely ask all the questions.
Yes.
All the questions.
All the questions.
You ask the questions about their medical history, their mental history, their financial history, their credit history, their family history. Get all of the questions out.
I had to put that up. I had to tweet that. Ask all the questions.
No, ask all of the. Then you don't have to ask them all in one night. Yeah. But over time, when y'all on the phone texting or whatever, however y'all communicating, ask the questions, slide them in there, and get the honest answers.
Right.
Because to build a healthy relationship, especially if one of your goals is to be one day committed or to be married, go ahead and ask the questions. You'll know well ahead of time if they meet your expectations, if they're within your boundaries or outside. You don't have to waste your time.
Yeah. Good stuff, babe.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, that like some advice. I'm like my wife. It's for all generations, and and with young people. But I love young. I'm like you too, Nicole. I love working with young people. I mean, they actually keep you on your toes. They keep you cutting edge. I mean, you know what's coming next. You know what's in and what's out. I mean, they're so good. So they keep you fresh. And I like to stay fresh and knowing what's going on, because actually being able to communicate with the current culture, you need the young people to help you stay with that, right? But
it's changing so fast.
It's always changing, and if you don't keep up with them, you will get lost, and you'll be 10 years behind, baby. So but like the relationships, so I mean, God gave us some good stuff, and He created us. So I want to say, first thing, whatever you do, you honor God in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that's old folky. I mean, I hear people say that now. A lot of young people say that now. No, that's old folky. But we can't get away from the basics. God created you. He created us, and He had a plan for us. And what He put in the Bible, what He put the instruction manual that He's given us, is for a success pattern. Now, how can we make it relate to you today? I mean, that's important. The application is important, you know, but it can relate. And so like Proverbs 4:23 comes to mind to me, and it says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it.
Right.
So, and also, you know, when in this proverb, it's not just talking about the pumper that we have that pumps blood through us, but it's talking about our emotions and our spirits and things like that. Guard that.
Yeah.
So when you're in relationships, no, guard that. Like, so young men, let me tell you something. Because I can just kind of go down your road.
Come on, talk to him, Jonathan. Talk to him.
Yeah. Before you go out and start making these promises, make sure that you can hold to it. Don't tell it. I mean, a lady's emotions, her trust is valuable, more valuable than gold. You know what I mean? And so before you get out of here and you go out here and make these adult decisions or these serious decisions, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm this, I love you. Now, and we say all these things because they sound good and it feels good at the moment. Be careful about what you say.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the other person, you can really, and if you're not ready to commit to that and back out on that, you've crushed somebody else. So guys, be careful about what you do, about what you say. And if you say it, make sure you can cash in on it.
Come on now. Come on.
So make sure you can cash in on it. And so, and young ladies, guard your heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys, guard your heart, you know, guard your emotions. Because out of it, everything flows. So check this out.
Guard it. Don't hide them, but guard
it. Because out of it, everything flows. And if it's bitter, you're flowing out bitter water.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What's flowing out is bitterness. What's flowing out is depression. What's flowing out is stress, anger. All that's flowing out if you don't guard it. But if you want life to flow out of it, do it God's way.
Yep.
Honor your relationships and do it God's way and make it work. So, I don't want to come off old folky, and I tell my people this all the time, but I want to come off and want you to understand this is just wisdom. Years of mistakes that we've done. I know how bad I hurt Ayanna because I would say I'm going to do this or do things and don't come through with it, or not meet the expectations that were set. So I know what I did, or not even set expectations. Just start doing things. Just doing things on a whim. On a whim. No planning, no execution. None of that was there. I'm just, if I feel like it, this is what we're gonna do. Boom, boom, boom. So none of that in place. So some more advice. Plan.
Yeah.
Plan.
Y'all do that? No.
That goes with those expectations, those boundaries, and those goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Plan. Wow.
Plan. Make a plan together, and put a plan together, and then have your timeline. I mean, we all want the diamond in the sky, the most promises. You know, we want all these great things, but there's a process to get into those things.
Yeah.
And if we do not plan, you know, we'll promise the moon, we'll promise the stars, and never get them because we didn't plan.
Yep.
Wow. That pass the offering basket. Pass it. You guys are dropping needed gold. I hope you guys are getting great value out there, whether you're listening live or you'll catch this on the replay, because you know I'm going to play this 50 million times because this is good stuff for us to hear. So I thank you guys for being open and being real. You know, I value that in you all since I've known you guys, and just being real and being who you are as a couple. And one of the, couples that I do look up to and admire for things in myself. So I thank you for coming and just sharing a little bit about you and your wisdom. So let's get into I quit. I quit. I had my doorbell rang this morning. I was like, "It's here!"
Yeah.
Perfect timing, right?
The perfect time, and see how God works. So let's get into it. So tell us about the book, and what do you hope to get? Who is it for, and what do you hope that readers gain from it?
We hate to keep saying everybody, but there's a little bit of something for everybody. Whether you are single and looking to have a relationship one day, whether you are preparing to get married, you're engaged, preparing to be married, or if you are married and having a little rocky time, or maybe looking to be remarried one day. There are a lot of things that we go through in marriages that we had to quit. And obviously we've been married 24 years. We didn't quit on the marriage. However, we got real close a whole lot of times. But we had to quit different things that were sabotaging our marriage. And one of the things that we found was of course, we got married, and we were married young, but a lot of people bring a lot of baggage into their relationships and into their marriages. Some of it disclosed, some of it undisclosed. And some of it you don't even realize that you're bringing. It's kind of like collateral damage that you bring into the marriage. And so we had to quit holding on to some of that stuff. We had to quit using some of that stuff against each other, so that our marriage could be strengthened. So we are looking to help couples and individuals alike to look within and find out what is it that will help you to develop a little bit more on a personal level to strengthen those relationships, to strengthen your marriage. Because we didn't have those transparent couples that were telling us things. So we thought we were kind of going through the stuff that we were going through in our marriage in isolation. Like, nobody goes through this.
Right.
So it must be something wrong with us. Then we got married early. So we thought for a long time that a lot of the things that we were going through were consequences or punishment for deciding to get married early, and that kind of thing. So when we realized that, once we start working with couples, that a lot of couples deal with some of this same stuff. So somebody needs to step up and not be in the fairy tale Prince Charming and Cinderella on social media, and tell them, okay, this is where we are, yes, but this is what we came through. And then if then you can relate to someone else kind of going through the same thing you went through, maybe you won't wave the white flag so soon. Now, there are times that divorce is inevitable. I get it. But there are some things that people are getting divorced over that's really fixable if they take the time to really look within, stop pointing the fingers, and compromise. So we just give different strategies and tools. So if you're not married, you can get a jump start on what you don't want to take into it.
Right.
And if you're prepared to be married, still not too late. I think it's a wonderful, it was a wonderful Valentine's gift. Hey, we're still in love month. Go ahead and grab it. If you have couples who we're going to be doing all these pandemic weddings come the spring, it's a good shower gift, a good wedding gift. I think a little bit of everybody can find something within, because we all have habits, and we can all
Yeah. I mean, the big thing. I mean, Ayanna covered the most of that, but probably pretty much all of it. But one thing I wanted to add to this was that we want, and we're so committed to seeing people win.
Yeah.
That we were just transparent in that book.
Yeah.
And I think transparency is one of the ingredients that we were missing in life.
Yeah.
That we did not get from anybody else. And then when you want to talk to the millennials, hey, you got to come real.
Yeah,
and they can smell fake and see fake a mile away. Right?
So true.
If you don't come real, they're not going to receive from you. And so, but that's something from this generation that the rest of us can learn from.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's be upfront. Let's be real. And let's not sugarcoat it. So I quit.
Yeah.
I quit. It's transparent. It's real. It's us. We open ourselves up to the world, and so that the world can win.
Yeah.
We want to see marriages win.
Yeah, we didn't get transparency, but for years in our marriage, we didn't give transparency because, I mean, you know, when you met us, we were in positions in church, we were in positions in the community, we had ranking, we had status. So you don't want people to look at you, you know, in a certain kind of way. But that doesn't keep relationships together. That doesn't keep marriages together, and that doesn't help people win. You know, we are on the other side and we're doing great. I mean, I think we're living our fairy tale now. You know what I'm saying? We're living actually living our happily ever after, and thriving. But I think it's okay to show the scars.
It is.
It's okay to show the scars because that makes you human, and that makes you relatable. And then, so I think the transparency was absolutely necessary, and the quitting was essential.
Essential. I quit.
I love it. I love it, guys. I'm so excited. I'm excited to delve into it. So tell us where we can get it. For those that are listening, how can we get a copy of I Quit?
You can go to Amazon.com. And just search Ayanna Kilgore or Johnathan Kilgore. It will pop right up. It has been on the #1 new release since the release date.
Yes.
It also hit bestseller, #1 bestseller, and it's still on the bestseller list. We've stayed in the top 10 on the bestseller list all week. So you can go to Amazon.com. You can go to Vow to Cherish, and that will send you over to it as well. And get your copy, share it so somebody else can get their copy too.
Yeah.
I love it. And how can we get in touch with you? If anybody want to get in touch with you, got questions, any contact information?
One, you can do it on the website, vowtocherish.com. You can follow me on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Ayanna Kilgore.
Okay.
And you can follow me on the same Facebook and Instagram at Johnathan Kilgore. And so, I mean, if you're looking for mentors, you're looking for coaching, you're looking for encouragement, and reach out to us because it's more than a book. Vow to Cherish is a marriage network or network for a relationship network that we want to help you win in your relationships.
Yeah, and I think that could be another piece of advice to Dr. Nick is when you're going through either relationships or marriage, there is so much help out there for you. You don't have to Google search it. You can actually connect with live people who will help you, get over the humps. And we've been trained and certified, either through professional development coaching or relationship coaching or however. Don't go at it alone. You can do it alone, but it's going to take twice the amount of time. Absolutely. Just go ahead and reach out for help. Reach out and talk, help to unpack some of that stuff. Because you may face some stuff that you just can't handle on your own. There is help out there for you. Don't think you can do that on your own. We did eventually get counseling and had coaches ourselves and stuff like that. That helped us to get over the hump. But
for so long we just tried to do it by ourselves.
It was trial and error,
and it was like nobody's coming. And we didn't want anybody to see our wounds.
Yeah.
So we had to hide that and put that facade up. So, but that caused so much more damage,
more pain.
More pain.
Wow. You guys are amazing. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for the success and the impact that you have in the lives that you're going to change and the relationships that you're going to help heal, deliver, set free so they can be healthy and we can continue to have healthy, flourishing relationships just as God has wanted us and how he created it, So thank you for your time in creating I Quit. So guys out there, grab your copy on Amazon or go to Vow to Cherish. The link is showing on the screen. Get your copy. Please connect and follow Ayanna and Johnathan on Instagram and Facebook at it's on the screen. So guys, quickly, we're running out of time, but I ask all my guests this one question, and I don't know, you want to collaborate or designate a person. I know y'all the two became one, so y'all work together. So, my question is always, what does adulting in my purpose mean to you?
You want to take it or you want me to take it?
And we probably going to say the same thing anyway, so you can say it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this has been such a good show, Dr. Nick, and I want to appreciate you for what you're doing. But adulting in my purpose, it just means to me, it's just like being an adult is doing those responsible things, but to doing it in my purpose it opens up a whole nother window. So like to me is like it's like actually taking the responsibility to do the things that we were created to do. And not only just find it, but to walk it out. I think that's what you're doing. Actually, not. I don't want to just figure it out and then just leave it on the table. But no, I want to live this, and this becomes a part of my life. So, and that's the adult thing to do with your purpose, because we could be irresponsible with our purpose, and adults are supposed to be responsible. So, so that's what it is to me, to being responsible with your purpose and living it out. You know.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. I love your passion, love your energy, and love what you're doing. And you always have my full support. So if there's anything that I can do to help serve you all, let me know. I'm excited to get in this book myself.
So when you read it, go to Amazon.
Right. Look, I'm ready.
Leave your review. Go to Amazon, leave your review, 5 stars.
I will. I definitely will, guys. So thank you for coming. Guys, this is another session of Adulting in My Purpose. You know how we do. We bring you the greatest and the best to help you with the tools and strategies that you need. Adulting in My Purpose is a movement to help young leaders just like yourself discover who they are, clarify their vision, and develop a solid plan to move to their next steps in life. So keep joining us. We'll be here next week. We're going to talk next week to a millennial. So we have our segment, Millennials Making Moves. We're going to be talking to Barryon McQueen, and he is of the CEO of the Brand Castle Solution. So he is going to share his story of how he became a brand strategist specialist and just talk about what he's doing and how he is adulting in his purpose. So you don't want to miss it. So make sure you join us next week, Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And as always, be safe and stay blessed. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Take care.